you believe in me, even though you die, you shall live forever, and I will raise you up, and I will raise you up, and I will raise you up on the last day.
Welcome to your cathedral. I'm Father Greg Sakowicz. Special thank you again to Mark Teresi, David Jonas, providing beautiful song, music. So Mark and David, thank you once again as we continue our Lenten journey. Special thanks again to our producer, Father Mark, producer Smolka, who does a marvelous job week in and week out, putting the whole thing together. And he always says, don't thank me, but as we say in Polish, Marek dziękuję, thank you. And he turned around from the camera there. So again, to Mark and David and Marek, can't thank you enough. By the way, this is our 52nd taping 1 year. It's hard to believe the pandemic started in terms of the lockdown March 15th, but let's put that behind us and move forward now with the help and grace of God. And God is with us, and God will see us through. As we continue our Lenten journey, this 5th weekend Sunday of Lent, Cycle B, Lent is derived from an Old English word meaning springtime. In Latin, Lent means slowly. Lent points to the coming of spring and invites us to slow down our lives to be able to take stock of ourselves and our life. In a Peanuts cartoon, Linus enters to find his older and always crabby sister, Lucy, crying bitterly. Mom promised me a birthday party, and now she says I can't have one, Lucy cries. Linus, in his quiet, wise way, offers this advice to his sister. You're not using the right strategy. Why not go up to Mom and simply say to her, I'm sorry, dearest mother. I admit I've been terribly bad. You were right to cancel my birthday party, but from now on I will try to be better. Lucy thinks about it. She prepares her speech for her mother later that day. Then she thinks about it some more, and finally, in the last panel, the stubborn Lucy cries, I'd rather die. Lucy cannot bring herself to embrace the faith of the gospel of the grain of wheat, this weekend's gospel, the 5th Sunday of Lent, to transform our lives in order to become the people we are meant to be, begins by dying to our own self-centeredness and those areas in our life that keep us from being who we want to be. That's always been the key question. As we continue our Lenten journey, what are those areas in your life that keep you from being the person you want to be? Choose one or two. Work on that area with the help and grace of God. What we are willing to let die in our lives in order that we seek in the depths of our hearts to grow and blossom. Jesus readily acknowledges that change is hard. Change is hard. The struggle to change is, in its own way, an experience of dying. But such transformation can be an experience of resurrection, new life, with the help and grace of God. As I just mentioned, I think for all of us, change is so hard. We think it's easy, but it's not. When you think about it, the only person who really welcomes change is a wet baby. It's true. Think about that one. Henry Nouwen, the late great spiritual writer, once wrote this. Any book by Henry Nouwen, Nouwenhenri, great spiritual writer who died some years ago, pick it up not only this Lenten journey, but any time of the year. He wrote this in one of his books. Our life is a short time in expectation, a time in which sadness and joy kiss each other at every moment. There's a quality of sadness that pervades all the moments of our life. It seems that there is no such thing as a clear-cut, pure joy. but that even in the most happiest moments of our existence, we sense a tinge of sadness. In every satisfaction, there's an awareness of limitations. In every success, there's a fear of jealousy. Behind every smile, there is a tear. In every embrace, there is a loneliness. In every friendship, distance. And in all forms of light, there is the knowledge of surrounding darkness. The limits of possibility, but always reach for the sky with the help and grace of God. True story. In the fall of 1962, a 10-year-old boy was watching Pee Wee football practice. Afraid to ask if he could play, he sat on the sidelines. The coach approached him and asked if he wanted to play. He was afraid to say no. The man asked if he was afraid. Now the little boy was afraid to say yes. So he put on a helmet and shoulder pads and ran onto the field. On the very first play, a big kid named Junior Groom came rumbling right toward him. It was scary, but he had to hit Junior because if he didn't, he thought the coach and the players would laugh. So he knocked Junior down. His name, Dave Casper, a later All-American tight end and co-captain at the University of Notre Dame and part of the 1973 National Championship football team won that year by Notre Dame, and later a member of the 1976 Super Bowl champion Oakland Raiders, the National Football League. So Dave Casper went on to a great NFL career, but it all started as a little 10-year-old boy in a Pee Wee League, football league. And later Casper recalls, listen what he says, "I realized I was never afraid to hit Junior. What I was afraid of was missing him." Interesting response. Little Dave Casper, 10-year-old boy, said, "I was never afraid of hitting Junior. I was afraid of missing him." So maybe think about some questions in my own life and to share with you. What am I most afraid or fearful in this life? What do I need to start doing? What do I need to stop doing? Am I more afraid of living than dying? Am I more afraid of dying than living? I'll repeat those questions, might be good for the Lenten journey. What am I most afraid or fearful of in this life? What do I need to start doing? What do I need to stop doing? Am I more afraid of living than dying? Am I more afraid of dying than living? Ponder those questions. A champion high jumper was once asked how he was able to catapult his body across the bar and set the world's record. Thoughtfully, the great athlete responded, "I threw my heart over the bar and the rest of me followed." I threw my heart over the bar and the rest of me followed. The readings we have heard from the Gospel from the prophet Jeremiah and today's Gospel from John remind us that in the journey of faith, the heart lifts us to a level of living reserved for those who choose to follow Jesus Christ. Simply put, there is no way for us to follow our Lord on his way to Jerusalem's bloody cross without doing so from the heart. What must I die from or let go of in order to truly find life? In my life, in your life, what do I need to let go of? Maybe we need to start getting rid of some of the excess baggage in our life. What weighs you down? What weighs all of us down? What's the excess baggage? As we travel through life, especially during this Lenten journey, more of us ought to cast off worry. Worry is living life with anxious anticipation. Another burdensome tendency that we may carry as baggage is a need for people's approval. As we listened in the Gospel, if anyone would serve me, let them follow me. Not an easy task with so many people placing, there are so many demands upon us. Another thing we need to let go of or die from is stress. Most of us carry too much stress. We're way too stressed. Stress is a syndrome of no more room in our lives for joy, creativity, fun, love, or the other spiritual and emotional relational realities that renew us. Stress, if you believe it or not, know it or not, can lead to anger, impatience, intolerance, and I believe also physical illnesses. Did you ever realize that when joy leaves the front door of our life, stress and worry quietly enters the back door of our life? I'll say it again. Did you ever realize that when joy leaves the front door of our life, stress and worry quietly enters the back door of our life? We sometimes need to also let go and be aware of the false security of materialism. Just one question. Do I own possessions, or do possessions own me? That's the question. Lastly, we need to let go or die from resentment or bitterness. People who forgive are freed of anxiety, depression, and anger, while an unforgiving heart and resentment can own us. I've asked this question before. As we grow older, is life making you better or bitter? And the choice is yours. And beautiful, again, that line from Cardinal Soup, which I love to repeat again and again. Forgiving doesn't change the past, it changes the future. As we listen in the gospel, unless the grain of wheat falls to the earth and dies, it remains just a grain of wheat. But if it dies, it produces much fruit. It takes heart. It takes heart. And remember, no one can go back and start a new beginning, but anyone can start today and make a new ending. May God bless all of you this Lenten journey. Stay healthy, and the start of the baseball season is getting very, very close. Amen.
And I will raise you up, and I will raise you up, and I will raise